what's the stupidest thing anyone's ever said to you about your cancer?
I mean, besides you look so good.
That is the number one.
That's the number one
You
thing.
look great, and I go, you know, and I have friends who are close enough, and they say, geez, you look great, and I go, what the hell were you expecting?
My response.
Yeah, that's my response. You think I was going to be gone, looking like somebody in final stage hospice or something? No hair? I said, do you understand that prostate cancer is asymptomatic? And I look nice. I've got hair. You know, some of us do, but that's not the point. I've got hair.
Above your neck.
I've got hair.
Above your neck.
Right. I said, from here down, I'm a chihuahua. You want to look? That backs them right off. But what is this? You look good. What do they think we're going to look like?
People mean
This
well.
this is. We talked about this a little earlier when Bob was talking. People want you to be well. When I finished radiation. You know, I think everybody thought that I was going to come out sort of this desiccated corpse.
Yep.
And, you know, I just sort of walked in the room. You haven't lost your hair. And people don't understand about prostate cancer. Chemo's like, you don't want to get the chemo because that's the end, guys. But they really want to kind of check you off in their little mental box of worry. Oh, he's made it through. You're good.
Yeah.
Check. And they have absolutely the best intentions. And you need to take that statement just as a thank you. Although when I'm in a bad mood, I say, I wish I felt as good as I look. But
I've actually trained people to say, I hope you're doing well.
right, they're trying to be as positive because they don't know what the
They're trying to pull you
say.
back,
They
too.
want to pull you back.
Cancer's
They
got
want
that
the
stigma.
old you.
What else they gonna say? I mean,
Cancer, the
they're
dread disease.
Is that on the agenda? That what he just said is one of the things that bugs me about cancer as a disease, that stigma, and I'm trying to figure out why that stigma.
Well, that's what separates what Bob was saying about. You see people with diabetes, you see people with other chronic diseases. They're not associated with death like cancer. I mean, people live for years with diabetes. And so while people have those chronic illnesses, you know, asthma, diabetes, they're not as, I think.
But it goes even beyond that. I get a sense from people that it's your fault.
Entire books have been written about this. There's a book out there called Cancer, the Dread Disease. It actually looks at the historical reasons of why cancer. My wife has had MS for 30 years. I got cancer, and cancer trumps everything.
Oh, yeah.
And that created a humongous issue in our relationship, for which I'm happy to say, Jim, therapy is fabulous. But cancer has that. You know, I don't know if it's like the syllables, the word, it's hard, but it does trump all other diseases, and you kind of have to take that into account, and just let people know, you know, I'm still here,
But on the
I'm doing
same
well.
token, though, prostate cancer is the ass end of, you know, pun, of the cancer family.
Nicely
Would you like to
done.
rephrase that?
You asked about what's the dumbest thing people have said to you? I'd like to pose a question. What's the most hurtful thing? Has anybody had hurtful things said to them about being with cancer? I had an experience that was devastating for me, and it was somebody who I thought was before that. And I still do think they're a good friend, but I thought, where did that comment come from? When I got through with my radiation after the failed surgery, and my PSA was very low, my surgical oncologist, when Val and I went to meet with them after the radiation was done, we got all the paperwork back. I said, so where are we at? Where do we go from here? He said, well, right now it's undetectable. You're gonna stay on Lupron, and that's gonna be palliative, not curative. We're gonna see if it keeps, you know, pushing the PSA down and keeps it down, so we can get the best chance for making it. And he says, but for all intents and purposes, you can call yourself cured, you can call yourself in remission. He says they're all words. Choose what you want. So when I shared this with friends, one of them said, well, are you sure you really had cancer?
Oh God.
And I gotta tell you, it stunned me.
You know, that's interesting. And one of the things that, thinking about how people react to this, and, I wrote a little editorial once, and the title of this was, Cancer is Never Real Until It's Personal. So cancer is something that we all know, and everybody knows, is bad. We all, I think, kind of know that struggle as we will, we haven't mastered it, we don't know how to cure it. It's probably the most feared thing that anybody can get. And so we all are theoretically against it, but cancer is never real until you actually have it. So you become a cancer victim or a survivor or whatever, a patient, then all of a sudden it's real. And I believe that that is the problem, one of the biggest challenges, with reaching out to men, because I think we all live by what I call the fighter pilot syndrome. Having spent a career in the military and been in combat, I think that if we ever thought it was our day to die, we'd never take off. We'd never climb out of the foxhole. So it's always going to happen to somebody else, okay? And that's why guys live the way we do. I mean, we just kind of wound up with this position in society. It's our job to go out and, hunt or gather, bring it back, be fearless, do that kind of a thing. So to get guys to the point where we can talk about things like, gals do, I think that is a huge challenge.